All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're doing a complete step-by-step walkthrough of the Soul-Sync Mode platform, and we're going to show you exactly how this unique self-reflection tool actually works. We're going to break down the mechanics, the psychology, and even the ancient wisdom powering the assessment, so you can see firsthand how it totally moves beyond your typical surface-level self-help stuff.
Right off the bat, the homepage hits you with a hook. The very first thing this platform does is ask you to look past your social media mask. It simply asks, what's really going on with you, not the version you put online. You know, in psychology, Carl Jung called this social mask the persona. It's that highly constructed, performative self we all use to navigate the world and seek approval. Well, this tool immediately asks you to drop that carefully curated persona and face your real, unfiltered self.
It's got this super clean, modern interface, positioning itself as an AI-powered reflection companion, and it's specifically designed to cure modern burnout and isolation. It doesn't look like some dusty psychology textbook. It feels like the sleek, intuitive apps we're all already using every single day. But instead of stealing your attention, it's using that modern design to help you return to yourself, process your thoughts, and reconnect with what actually matters.
But before we jump into the 5 specific questions of the assessment, we kind of need to talk about the underlying philosophy here. We live in an era that's completely overwhelmed by what researchers are calling diseases of despair. We are swamped by information, but suffering a massive collapse in meaning. Soul-Sync Mode acts as a tool for what's known as hedonic engineering. This is a concept focused on shifting our biology and neurology to radically upgrade our well-being. It's about curing the absolute root cause of our exhaustion, not just putting a band-aid on the symptoms.
So the assessment kicks off with this incredibly direct, verbatim question to test your immediate coping mechanisms. When things get heavy, what do you actually do? Notice it's not asking what you think you should do or what your therapist told you to do last week. It wants the raw, messy truth of your initial reaction to stress, the one we usually try to hide from everyone else.
And the choices? There's zero clinical jargon here. The app gives you highly relatable, mainstream choices that instantly mirror our modern avoidance tactics. Do you doom scroll until numb? Hey, we've literally all been there. Isolate and go quiet? Maybe you stay insanely busy so you just don't have to feel anything. Or spiral into overthinking. Or perhaps you actually sit with it. These answers instantly categorize how your ego goes into defense mode when the pressure is on.
Once you've admitted how you cope, it pushes a bit deeper into your internal alignment, asking, your most honest relationship with yourself right now is. This is where the assessment starts to build a real, deep psychological profile of where you truly stand today. You have to pick an answer that completely strips away that performative self. You get right down to the exhaustion and the hidden burdens you might be carrying around. Admitting something like, I know exactly what I should do, I just don't do it. Or, I'm running on empty and pretending I'm not. I mean, that takes immense vulnerability. The AI is actually using this to gauge the gap between your inner reality and your outward performance. Then we hit question 3, which is all about confronting your behavioral loops. It asks, the pattern you keep repeating. This is forcing you to identify the recurring cycles in your life. Things like self-sabotage, people-pleasing, avoidance, or emotional numbing. Now, what's really fascinating about this is that these repetitive patterns are actually what Jungian psychology calls the shadow. The shadow is essentially the collection of traits, emotions, and impulses that we refuse to accept, and instead we hide them from the world. But here's the catch. When we disown these parts of ourselves, they don't just magically disappear. They drive our behavior from the unconscious. That is exactly why you keep self-sabotaging or people-pleasing without even meaning to. Question 4 cuts straight to the isolation a lot of us feel, asking, what people in your life probably don't know about you? This is a really profound inquiry into the disconnect between your inner world and your outer relationships. Are you hiding how close to the edge you actually are? How lost you feel? Maybe there's anger living beneath your calm exterior, or perhaps a deep, unspoken spiritual hunger.
And finally, the 5th honest question asks what you're ultimately after. What you're actually looking for. Be honest. Are you looking for a reason to get up that genuinely means something to you? Are you desperate to break a tiring cycle, gain some clarity, or just find a real connection? Your answer here determines the entire direction of the growth protocol the platform is about to build for you. And that leads right into the big reveal. Okay, so you finish those 5 rapid-fire prompts, and the AI goes to work. It processes all your honest admissions, literally reading between the lines to synthesize your coping mechanisms, your shadow behaviors, and your deepest cravings. Then, it translates all that complex psychological data into a highly personalized result.
And here it is. The platform unlocks your Soul-Tech Archetype.
Let's say you unlock the level 1 Seeker. By framing this as a level and an archetype, Soul Sync mode actually gamifies your journey towards psychological wholeness. It's super smart. It gives you a clear identity to start from, a structured, highly understandable starting line for the deep inner work that's ahead.
Right after that, you get your soul stats. Think of this like a tangible, app-like baseline of your current emotional maturity and self-awareness. It's really crucial to remember that these stats reflect exactly where you are right now based on your raw answers, not your future potential. The 3 core metrics you get are shadow awareness, dharma alignment, and sovereign discipline.
Let's break down that first stat, shadow awareness. This measures your progress in confronting those hidden, uncomfortable parts of yourself we talked about earlier. True emotional intelligence isn't just about smiling and being polite. It's a dynamic, ongoing process of integrating unconscious material. If your shadow awareness is low, it simply means your repressed emotions are still running the show. Raising this stat means finally taking full ownership of yourself.
Then there's your Dharma alignment stat. This one pulls straight from ancient Vedic philosophy. In Hindu traditions, deities like Vishnu are responsible for maintaining Dharma, which is the moral and cosmic order of the universe. When applied to you personally, this stat measures how well your daily life, your work, and your actions actually align with your true universal purpose. Basically, it's asking, are you living authentically or are you entirely off path?
And honestly, this is what makes the whole platform so unique. Soul Sync mode brilliantly translates thousands of years of dense Jungian psychology and ancient Vedic intelligence into this incredibly clean digital mirror. It takes these massively complex esoteric concepts, like the shadow, individuation, and dharma, and makes them instantly accessible and completely measurable for the modern user.
But, just staring at your stats isn't going to change anything. To actually raise those soul stats, the app prescribes a 3-step activation protocol. This includes daily AI-guided practices that are totally tailored to your archetype, things like personalized rituals and shadow prompts. It also features a progression system so you can visibly track your growth over time, and it connects you to a real community of people who are also done performing and are ready to do the actual work.
Because ultimately, the whole thing runs on this powerful psychological truth from Carl Jung: emotion is the chief source of becoming conscious. You simply cannot think your way into a better life. You have to actually feel and confront the heavy stuff, the shadow, the despair, the misalignment, to truly grow up and wake up.
So, we've walked through the mechanics, how the technology reads your patterns, and how it bridges all this ancient wisdom with modern insight. And I want to leave you with this final thought to explore on your own. Are you brave enough to log off, look inward, and answer those 5 honest questions for yourself? Are you ready to stop performing your life and finally return to who you actually are?